Coming up on this hour of American Graduate Day, award-winning journalists Susie Garib and Soledad O'Brien, jazz legend Wynton Marsalis, and from Sesame Street, Elmo and Alan Muroka.
We want to be American graduates!
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
When I grow up, I want to be a track star, a singer, and a fashion designer. When I grow up, I want to be in the CIA.
I am an American graduate!
Hi, I'm Rashonda Gray from the Atlanta Dream, and I'm happy to be a part of American Grad Day. One of the reasons why this day is so special to me, because I give all credit to my mentor, who's Tyrone Deneen. Growing up, I haven't had the easiest life. I remember coming into his office one day, and he sat me down, and he had like this real serious conversation with me. And he said, Rashonda, I know you're not a bad kid. It's just the people that you hang around with. I know you're better than that. And I see a lot of potential in you. And I feel like since that day that he sat me down and had the chance to talk to me, he gave me some belief. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank my mentor and his wife for pushing me academically, because a lot of people told me that I wouldn't make it out of South Central, but look at me now. I graduated from a #1 public university in the country, and I am now a professional athlete.
Leisure, inside, Gray, got it! Oh, what a play!
I got involved in after-school All-Stars maybe when I was around the age of 11. I feel like it's definitely like a whole. It gives children chances and it offers them opportunities as well to be successful. They offer several different classes, from learning about how to work on cars, from nail salon, hair salon, learning how to do your hair, and of course basketball as well. It just provides a lot of extracurricular activities to keep kids out of trouble and off the streets. If it wasn't for after-school All-Stars, I wouldn't even thought about playing basketball. My advice to you guys is take advantage of these opportunities that they give you. Like, these people are taking time out of their day to help you all and want you guys to benefit from it. So use it to the fullest advantage and create relationships with everybody. Become an American graduate champion. Be a mentor.
Rashonda's mentor dramatically changed and maybe even saved her life. And all day today, we're going to see groups who do just that. Rashonda's work with After School All-Stars helps support an organization that serves more than 70,000 students nationally in after-school hours. Hello, everyone. I'm Susie Garib, and I'm proud to be part of American Graduate Day. With so many working parents, many children need extra attention outside the home. Well, in the next half hour, we'll be discussing the importance of organizations that provide what we called more and better learning. And there aren't many better than our next group. When people hear the term mentoring, most usually think of big brothers and big sisters, and with good reason. Their mentor matching programs have been changing young lives for more than a century. They provide close to 170,000 kids ages 6 to 18 with mentors that enrich their lives and expand their horizons. Just listen to what a few of these bigs and littles have to say about each other.
Some of the things that you and Michael have done?
We have went fishing, we worked on ponds. He taught me how to drive.
We go to the dog park with her dog Lucy.
One time specifically we went to a recycling plant and we're helping people unload boxes for recycling.
She picked me up and drives me places in her car.
I don't drive like that. If you were describing Jeff to someone who may not know...
Careful what you say.
Like physical traits or...
No.
Personality traits?
Yes.
He's tall and he's wise. He's funny too.
She's nice, sweet, and sassy. Amazing. I would say they're really nice, funny, fun, creative. That's all.
Awesome.
And really cool.
is just an amazing person.
Oh, that's nice.
Just like a nice person to be around in general.
She really brings me happy in my life.
How long do you think you and Dort are gonna be friends?
Forever, until I get grown up. Until I'm 100.
I love her.
Forever. Between 7 and 10 years.
Just 7 to 10, that's it.
In your mind and in your heart, how has she impacted your life?
She actually brightens up my day whenever I see her.
I'm not afraid to do what I would like to, and I have courage to do stuff.
It is the most impact. Nobody has had more impact in my life.
Oh, nice.
He's helped me greatly. So I'm glad I'm on the track I am right now. So I'm doing pretty good.
What do you want to say to him about him being your big brother?
I want to say thank you for giving me the courage to try new things and to be brave and go out to do what I put my mind to and try my hardest.
Thank you for being my big sister and taking me places and having a good time with me.
That I appreciate everything you've done for me, and hopefully we can continue to be friends after we're done in Big Brothers and Big Sisters. It's really helped a lot.
That I miss her very much. And I love her.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for everything you've done. You have no idea the impact. Now you got me welling up trying to get him to cry.
Yeah, you got me welled up too. Good kid.
Oh, I just wish she was here. I just want to hug her. I guess I didn't realize that she felt that way, but that was really sweet.
How does it make you feel?
How well, humble. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, God would be very blessed.
You can see why he impacts my life. He's there's never a dull moment.
Nick's not one to really talk about his feelings very often, so to hear him talk about what he's gotten out of it, or how he's benefited from it, how he's changed because of our interactions was kind of surprising for me to hear. But I was glad to hear him say it.
He needs me just as much as I need him, and it gives you that fulfillment when you go home.
Oh, it just makes my day. It really does. It proves to me that I did the right thing by volunteering.
A lot of times these kids don't have those things, nobody at home to teach them how to cut grass or change a tire. Those are some of the things that we do. It don't have to be an event all the time. You know, the event is just spending time together.
It was more about just taking the time to say, hey, Wayne, somebody cares about you. That's what it was all about.
I think Big Brothers Big Sisters is a great way to say the relationship that you have, because it is like your big brother. It is like your big sister. It's somebody who's there for you all the time, that doesn't judge you, and that helps you and mentors you through life.
I know that as long as he wants to be in my life, until I'm gone off this earth, he can be in my life.
For kids like Naomi, a mentor provides an essential missing piece. So help bring Big Brothers and Big Sisters to your company. Make a difference. Our next Stories of Champions comes to us from KETC in St. Louis, where a mentor is bringing some sunshine into kids' lives. Then we'll see how caring begets caring with a story from the star of Creed, Michael B. Jordan.
This once elementary school in East St. Louis, Illinois, now serves as the Sunshine Cultural Arts Center, providing a safe haven for young people and bringing positive change to this community. The center offers many activities year-round to youth in the region, but making the most noise is the Community Performance Ensemble, led by Sylvester Sunshine Lee.
I do traditional African culture art. That means I had to go to the village to get everything that I got, to begin to teach the grassroots of this culture, what it means.
For 38 years, Lee has used African arts as a tool to provide young people with a sense of purpose and a path to success in life.
Sunshine, man, he's a father figure. You know, he's a big brother. He gets on you, to make you better. That's all he wants. He wants the best for you.
I'm trying to give them everything I got. And it goes back to say each one teach one. It takes a village to raise the children or the community. Well, then this is the village.
I could have been, easily in jail. I could have been easily one of the victims, so there's no telling who I could have been, and that's why this is very critical, and we need this, this saved my life.
I was the only one of my friends that had both parents that were still together. My house was one of those places that all my friends would go to. It was one of those places where mom and dad would always cook. It was always be, abundance of food, and people would just hang out. It was just like one of those households that people just never wanted to leave. And I think my dad, just played a huge part in that. Seeing so many of my friends and that didn't, make that right turn, or didn't go that way, or didn't choose, that door, and seeing them kind of go down that slippery slope, it made me really value, my parents and my dad's kind of guidance, and him, tell me what not to do, to be home at a certain time, find things that I'm passionate about, just the opportunities. You're making a big difference and a big impact on somebody's life, whether it's your family or friends or a mentor that's able to step up and show you that they care, that somebody cares, and goes a long way. I am my brother's keeper. I am a mentor in real life.
What a touching message from Michael B. Jordan. His parents not only changed his life, they changed the lives of lots of kids in the neighborhood. And our next group, Girl Scouts of the USA, has been taking care of kids on a neighborhood level since 1912. The Girl Scouts isn't just about Thin Mints and Samoas. Nearly 2 million girls and 800,000 adult volunteers are guiding this institution into the future while continuing to teach girls courage, confidence, and character, and I know I was one of them. The impact a single Girl Scout leader can make is evident in our next mentor-mentee story. Meet Ray Yan and Pooja Nagpal from the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles. And thank you both for coming and joining us here for American Graduate Day. And Ray, thank you for this Girl Scout pin.
Oh, you're welcome.
I should have brought my own from home, but I'm glad you had this one for me.
That's great.
So let me start with you. You're the daughter of immigrants from Taiwan, and you joined the Girl Scouts when you were a child. And then as an adult, you became a volunteer. Why did you decide to be a volunteer and a mentor for the Girl Scouts?
I thought the Girl Scout program was a worthwhile program to join. And for $15, it's so easy to join. And when my daughter was a daisy, she started, in Girl Scouts. And I was the cookie mom or the treasurer and did Girl Scouts that way. And then when the girls were about 12, I became a leader and started to lead the girls through their middle school and high school years.
And Pooja and your twin sister Mira were in your troop.
Yes.
And you, your parents are also immigrants from India. You came up with the idea, I want to join the Girl Scouts, and they liked it. And you stuck with it from age 12 until you graduated from high school just this past year.
Right.
Why? A lot of other girls drop out. Why did you stick with it all these years?
It was the confidence that it instilled with me. And like the sisterhood was these girls just mentoring each other, these girls empowering each other. And when I was younger, I was interested in a lot of activities that sometimes discourage girls, like martial arts, there's not many girls. Some engineering courses don't have many girls. But Mrs. Yan and all the other girls encouraged me, just find what you're passionate about and follow through with it. And that's what Girl Scouts.
Well, Ray, girls like Pooja, there are so many choices of their after-school activities. There's sports. She was in marching band. She was taekwondo. It's a lot of other things to do. What do you say to girls? What's your pitch to have them stay in the Girl Scouts?
Yeah, you have a choice between doing a sport or doing music and doing the arts. But Girl Scout is about service and about taking your time and helping to serve others as a volunteer and as well as a girl wanting to serve her community. And I think that's a really great cause to be in.
And you have been a leader in this whole service area. You came up with the idea of having a program for girls, teaching girls self-defense. And you've been working with girls in the Watts area of Los Angeles, in housing projects, homeless shelters. Why did you decide, and you got a black belt in the process, why did you decide to do this? What motivated you to do this particular program?
It was the same empowerment that I felt that Mrs. Yan gave to me and Girl Scouts instilled with me. It was the idea that it takes a lot of mental strength to go through whatever circumstance and challenges that you have. So I heard of stories of girls who were undergoing teen dating violence, or they were fearful of going to school because the violence, or just some circumstantial areas that they couldn't control. So I thought of the idea that what if they were to empower themselves through physical strength, through mental strength. And when I did, these girls immediately told me their stories. They told me their passions and their dreams. And when they said the first punch and hut, whatever, they became so much more empowered. So the empowerment is a huge thing.
And it obviously made an impression on you, because then you took this idea to your parents' home country of India, and you also did a self-defense program for girls there. And as a result, you got the Girl Scouts' highest honor, the Gold Award. When I see you're wearing your pin under your hair there, what did this recognition mean for you?
So the Gold Award isn't, for me, it's not an award. It was just the beginning of my journey. It was creating a sustainable impact in an area that you're passionate about. And when I saw that impact, I decided to continue. At first, I started with 40 girls, and now, total around the world, in LA and India, it's become over 1,000 girls. So, this idea of like a domino effect, her mentoring me and me mentoring these girls who are the same age, some of them even older. Mentorship isn't just an age concept, it's empowering others concept.
It's fabulous, and your story is so impressive. Ray, how do you feel about the girl you met when she was 10, 12 years old, and now as a young woman? How has Pooja changed?
Oh, it's amazing. I remember her being 12 years old and shyer than what you can believe. I mean, she just wanted to sit back and she wanted to watch. And she didn't want to do anything in front of other people. And she's now in front of thousands of people, and I'm so proud of what she's done. It's
You're
amazing.
very confident.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive. You're now a freshman at Berkeley. You're a student in electrical engineering. And so, good luck to you. Congratulations on all that you've accomplished and where you're going next.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pooja and Ray. A real pleasure having you. And congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, help kids like Pooja reach their full potential. For mentoring opportunities in your area, go to AmericanGraduate.org and click Be a Mentor in the homepage carousel. You'll be directed to the Mentoring Connector database. Just type in your information and preferences, and you'll be provided with a list of mentoring opportunities in your community. And as we close this half hour on More and Better Learning, it's time to announce the total number of champions recognized by our groups so far. And get this, we are up to 1,835,844. Just amazing. Those are the champions that we have already. So congratulations to all the champions on the wonderful work that you're doing. And coming up next, we're going to find out who inspired 9-time Grammy winner Wynton Marsalis, and then we'll meet a great group of young musicians inspired by him.
Hi, I'm Wynton Marsalis, and it is a great honor to be speaking with you on American Graduate Day. I want to speak about a great mentor that I had and about the joys of mentorship. I'm speaking about my father. He's a musician and a teacher. I think the thing about my father was the depth of the soul that he had and the love that we felt coming from him. And no matter how things went when he played concerts and there weren't people there, or if times were hard, my father always had a positive attitude. But he was someone who always would listen to other musicians, and he would always give you some really insightful advice about what you needed to do to get better as you. I always remember things when I was first in high school. I would circular breathe and do like a lot of fancy stuff on the trumpet and play fast, and it would always get a lot of applause. And my father would always look at me after I would do that and say, "Hey man, the circus is down the street. If you're gonna play some music, play. If not, just come up here with a kazoo and a clown outfit on." As an adult, I was given an opportunity to start our organization. It's entitled Jazz at Lincoln Center. In music, when you're in an ensemble, you're in a band, you're playing with other people, you're fulfilling a function and a role, you come together, you get to rehearse, you work on something, you have a sense of pride, you're entertaining people with quality. When you practice an instrument, you're disciplining yourself and you're working on things, you get a sense of achievement when you get better from step to step. If you're playing jazz and you're improvising, you get to make things and find your personality and work on it and develop it. If you play with an ensemble, you get a chance to co-create with other people. There's nothing greater in the world. It teaches you the power of symbiosis, how powerful it is when we all come together. I've been fortunate to mentor many kids over the last 30-something years. It's an honor to be a part of other people's lives, and that you could be a part of their lives, impact them positively, and that they could grow and develop, and then have the opportunity to express that to you and let you feel that love coming back to you. That's a fantastic circle of emotion. Become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor. There's nothing more fulfilling.
And of course, we greatly appreciate Winton's effort. It's amazing that he founded this organization almost 20 years ago. And joining me now is the director of jazz at Lincoln Center's Youth Orchestra, Vincent Garner, and one of his high school students, who's a junior, Devontae Dunbar. Thank you guys for being with us. And Vincent, talk about the dedication of the students in this program.
Well, we have students that come from the tri-state area, and they come from a very long way away to give us their time and help us to mold them musically in our programs. And they rehearse every week. We audition every July for the program, and they show a tremendous amount of dedication to everything that we do. And we love them. They inspire us, and we try to inspire them.
Yeah, and Devontae, I'm sure you're learning a lot. What's been the most important thing you've learned from the program?
I think one of the most important things I've learned is that jazz is a good representation of life itself. There's many skills you need in order to be able to function, and one of them is discipline, which I think is especially important. And I'm able to carry that same work ethic that I use in music into my studies and also just overall life.
That sounds wonderful. So Vincent, you've worked with Devontae since he started the program. Talk about how the program has changed him.
Well, you know, Devontae has gotten a lot more confident in life because of using music as a vehicle for that. And because as he's gotten more confident on his horn, he's gotten more confident in interacting with adults and showcasing what he has and asking questions. And you can just see the growth in him and all of our students, the way that they take music and use that as a vehicle to become more assertive in life and more confident in what they do.
Yeah, and Devontae, I'm sure that you've learned a ton from Vincent. Talk about some of the things he's taught you.
One of the most important things that Vincent has taught me is being yourself, because I know I joke around a lot and say, I want to become the young Charlie Parker or a young Sonny Stitt. But he says it's really about being yourself and just playing from the heart.
Really cool. And jazz, of course, is expressing yourself as an individual. I'm from New Orleans, so we appreciate jazz. Talk about why that's so important to be so expressive.
Well, you know, we are individuals. Everybody here, we improvise in everything that we do. We put on different clothes every day. We speak different ways. We eat different things every day. Every time we wake up, everything we do during the day, we're improvising. And it's important that we showcase that we never lose that in kind of an age where that's not really promoted anymore. Being an individual is not really encouraged as much as it used to be. And I think it's important that through jazz music, that these kids learn that their voice that they develop, their individual voice that they develop, is the most important thing. That's the pinnacle of being a jazz musician. And so we foster that individuality as much as we can.
All right, great. Well, we can't wait to hear you guys. Devontae, what are you going to play for us today?
We're going to be playing Happy Feet Blues.
All right, well, you guys get over there and get in place. We can't wait to hear from you. Remember, guys, AmericanGraduate.org is where you can get more information on that program or anything else we've got going on today. Let's hear it. Take it away, guys.
Become a mentor. Help to secure the most vulnerable among us, our children, our beloved children.
So I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
Are you?
Since 2006, the National Cares Mentoring Movement has recruited, trained, and connected more than 140,000 caring mentors with more than 200,000 children in schools and local youth-serving programs in 58 cities. Susan Taylor is the founder of the National Cares Mentoring Movement and the former editor-in-chief of Essence magazine, and she joins us now to tell us how this program is allowing young underserved children the opportunity to realize their dreams. Susan, nice to have you here with us.
Oh, I'm so honored to be with you.
Tell me about how this all came about, how this idea came about in your mind, and how you were able to start moving forward with it.
You know, I walk through airports or down the street, and readers of Essence will come up to me and say, "Oh my God, I just love the magazine, and you're writing your books, and the magazine itself changed my life." And we know that we go to worship service, and there may be one person in the pulpit. One person is this dynamic speaker. We're taking notes, and something in us shifts. So I said, well, why can't we do that with schools? Why can't we do that in places where our children are there in great numbers and really need that kind of support? And so that gave rise to the Rising, which is a program that I'm so excited about.
You had recently your gala, the fundraising, it did marvelously well. And part of it was some essentially sort of testifying, if you will, by some people, young people who have benefited from this. And it can be such a compelling response to what you've done. I'm going to just take a quick look at two of them here, and then I'm going to come out and talk with you about it.
But I always knew I wanted to do more with my life. I didn't want to end up in prison or in a casket. At the same time I was feeling this way, a new program came into my school called The Rising. The program and the people who worked in it shift my energy. I learned that I want too much for myself to let bad energy corrupt me. Being around successful people changed my outlook on many things, including what it means to be a man.
My name is Katie Ferguson Shan, and I came to tell you that I was never supposed to be here. None of you were supposed to know my name or hear my voice. I was supposed to be in the streets, prison, or dead. That's the story of too many young people of my generation, and it could have been my story as well. Instead, I stand before you as a teacher, a mentor, and a survivor.
So you look at those two young people, and the first thing you say is, it works. It can work, and they are evidence of the fact that it can work. It can work for self-esteem, it can work for cultural identity, but you also say, and part of the pitch for this is, it can work for bigger issues such as poverty. How so?
Well, look at Tiante, the young man who just spoke, right? Tiante didn't have one-to-one mentoring with us in the school, Harlan High, on the south side of Chicago. And in that school, in one academic year, 30 young people were shot. Chaos. He was part of the group. We're mentoring all 1,000 youngsters in that school through group mentoring, 27 volunteer mentors, 1,000 students, a diminishing student body as children shift from shelter to shelter and school to school. It's chaos. And about 6 employees. We have psychologists and former teachers and principals who really run the program. He was part of the group we were mentoring. And if you had heard the rest of that, you know what he said? Here are my grades before Rising. The Rising came into my school, all Fs. Here are my grades today. He held up his report cards, all As and Bs. Because what we're doing is shifting consciousness. We're letting young people know that they are intelligent. They're not who they see themselves represented as on the nightly news. There is no young person out here who's trying to make trouble, who has a gun in his or her pocket, or is trying to assault somebody if they have a job and they see a way forward. So what we're doing is really speaking life into young people, helping them to understand why academics are important and that they are intelligent enough to learn. But you're talking about schools that are there's such a gulf between what schools in poor neighborhoods have and the resources that are available to young people who are in well-resourced schools and well-resourced families. So in schools like we're working in Harlan and other cities around the country where we're piloting programs, you have young people who don't have computers, who really don't have great science labs, who don't have the band equipment, who don't have the extracurricular activities, teachers who are overwhelmed, who need more support, and a budget that is cut every single year. And so we're saying we can do better than this. The National Cares Mentoring Movement really is a community mobilization movement, getting the community involved in the rescue and advancement of our young. We can fix it, And we are.
And it's certainly not too late. You see those two young people and you realize the transformative power of having somebody to look up to and help guide you. Susan Taylor, just marvelous work by you. We're so happy you came in and chatted with us. We'll look forward to talking with you as you continue with the movement here. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you for having us. Thank you.
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.
Colorado Public Television is proud to be a part of American Graduate Day.
Let's make it happen! Wow, look how young I was, Elmo, right?
Look, Alan is riding without training wheels.
That's right, because that is a picture of me, and my dad is teaching me how to ride a bike.
Wow.
And this is a picture of my dad and me at my graduation.
Boy, you and your daddy look really happy.
You know what? My dad inspired me to do so many things. He's my mentor.
Mentor?
Mhm.
What was that?
Well, a mentor is somebody who teaches or gives help or advice. You know, like my dad. He taught me how to ride a bike, and he always encouraged me to never give up and work hard in school.
Elmo gets it. So a mentor is somebody who teaches you things?
That's right, Elmo. You know what? I have a question for you.
Yes.
So who is one of your mentors?
Boy, who is one of Elmo's mentors?
Mhm.
Let Elmo think.
Okay.
Hey! Oh, Elmo's got somebody.
Who?
Elmo learned a lot from you, Alan.
What?
Yeah! Oh, remember the time that Alan taught Elmo how to make a frozen strawberry, banana, chunky, almond butter, skim milk smoothie?
I sure do. You added all of that fruit, and I worked the blender.
Yeah! Do you know what the best part of having Alan be Elmo's frozen strawberry, banana, chunky,
Almond?
you butter, skim milk smoothie mentor is?
All right, what's that?
Sharing it with Alan.
Oh.
Hey!
What?
All this talk about smoothies is making Elmo hungry.
Yeah, me too. You know what? And I've got plenty of fresh fruit over at Hooper Store.
Is Alan thinking what Elmo's thinking?
You bet I am.
Let's have
All right, frozen strawberry, banana, chunky, almond, butter, skim, milk smoothie. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, they're so cute. I hope they have a smoothie ready for me. Hey, everybody, I'm Soledad O'Brien. Welcome back to the next half hour of American Graduate Day. We're going to be talking about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, which is the unique obstacles that face special needs students. Alan and Elmo are some of the characters, obviously, we all know and love from Sesame Street. And Sesame Street is now using their creative forces to lead us in a new and important conversation. Sesame Street's innovative Autism initiative is opening the door for a wider discussion on how communities can engage and educate and embrace students who are on the autism spectrum. So we're joined today by Sesame Street Senior Editor Leslie Kimmelman and Dr. Jeanette Betancourt. She's a Senior Vice President of U.S. Social Impact. Nice to have you both with me.
Thank you.
Why a special autism initiative?
Because as the workshop, we're constantly looking where there are needs for children. And we knew that particularly for autism and special needs, there were not a lot of resources to drive the kind of understanding around autism and also drive it so that we appreciate children's differences as well as the uniqueness of every child and what they share in common.
How did you know that Sesame Street characters and programming would appeal to children who are autistic?
Well, speaking personally, the people that I've met through my son, who is now a 27-year-old with autism, was enamored of Elmo at a time where he really reacted to almost nothing else. And anecdotally, I think many of the people that I've seen, that I've met through him, have had similar reactions. But I think all children relate to the Muppets. I think it's sort of a universal thing. And I think one of the things we've tried to do in this initiative is, as Jeanette said, is to show not only what's different about children with autism, but that a lot of things about them are exactly the same. They want to experience joy. They want to laugh. They want to have fun. They want to feel loved and safe.
They're children.
Yeah, they're kids. Absolutely.
So there's a new character named Julia. Tell me about Julia.
Julia was created. She's on the autism spectrum. She's a little bit older than Elmo. Some people may wonder why we made her a girl, because autism is typically more common, much more common for boys. But I think that's really why we did it. The material that's available tends to be geared toward boys, and we thought girls needed their say as well. And there have been studies that show that girls sometimes have more problems. They tend to be bullied more. So we made her a girl. Hopefully she'll appeal to both genders anyway.
And Julia does a lot of explaining to her friends, sort of the things that she's experiencing.
Yes, she does it in a way that it's in everyday moments. So she explains to her friends a little bit why she may not communicate as easily, or she has special ways that she can join a group. But the thing is also, it's not only Julie explaining, but it's also you see her Sesame Street friends joining in. And again, together accommodating one another's differences, but also what they share in common. So they play together, they sing together, they share a book together.
So are you trying to basically role model for everyone how a kid who is autistic or has autism is able to be seen as an individual? Is really that the goal ultimately?
Absolutely.
I think so, yes. It's really the idea that it's not only for children, it's also for the adults around them. It's not only for the autistic community, but it's also for the general public. So we also know statistically with the numbers of children with autism, 1 in 68, that all of us most likely will be in contact with someone with autism. So this is a way to understand, share, and communicate about the topic.
My nephew is autistic, and he's 17 years old now, and I remember when he was first diagnosed, there was so little understood. My sister felt like she was on this island, kind of alone, trying to figure it out. That's changed a lot over time.
It's been a sea change, and as I said, my son is 27, so even worse. I think one of the things that I think is so wonderful about this initiative is the sense of community and the real, I think most people really want to be supportive, really want to help, and maybe just don't have all the tools to do that. They don't understand what the best way to approach a child or how to react if someone's having a meltdown. I think that the resources we're trying to provide is to involve not just the families of people with autism, but the whole community.
Why did Sesame Street feel like the special needs community was a place the company had to be?
We've had a history of that since the very beginning. Our history on Sesame Street was really to show the diversity of our community. So from the very beginning, we always included special needs. I think this particular area of special needs, exactly what Leslie said, it was under-resourced. And here was an opportunity to use our wonderful characters and in different modalities, not only through the storybook, but digitally, to show this.
It's amazing. So congratulations, Jeanette Betancourt and Leslie Kimmelman. Thanks for coming in to talk to me about it. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Another ingenious and effective program came from the loving spark in the heart of a girl who is a high school cheerleader. Let me introduce you to Sarah Kronk. She's an amazing young woman determined to change the culture of her high school, now creating positive waves in communities across the country. Take a look.
All the parents who sit on the bleachers want their kids to have a moment in the sunlight. And our kids would never get it if it weren't for the sparkle effect.
I'm Sarah Kronk, and I'm the president and founder of the Sparkle Effect. There are over 5 million students with disabilities in the U.S. school system. Kids with disabilities just cannot develop socially without interaction with their typically developing peers. My older brother, Charlie, is on the autism spectrum, and when he entered high school, he had a really hard time making friends. He was going to lunch every day and being turned away from table after table. And then one day, out of the blue, a popular upperclassman at our school named Jared just said, "Hey dude, come sit at our lunch table." And it totally turned my brother's world around.
He went from dreading school and feeling like an outcast to feeling like he had a place to belong. And at that point, she really realized we as teenagers are incredibly powerful and have the power to dramatically change the lives of other people.
The mission of the Sparkle Effect is to start cheerleading and dance programs in middle schools, high schools, and colleges across America that include students with disabilities. I started with just my school and got together a group of girls from my team and talked to my coach and our administration, who were really very skeptical at first. And then the first game came. We walk out onto the football field arm in arm with these girls who have never been in front of a crowd before. and the entire stadium rises to their feet and they start cheering, and there was not a dry eye in the house. It was one of the most brilliant moments of my life.
It's changed who we are as a community here. To give these kids a spotlight and put them front and center in a cheerleading uniform, they're no longer invisible, and that changes everything.
They have friends around every corner. The school is so supportive. They're now really respected as athletes.
It changes parents, it changes the kids involved. Kids like my daughter, they're getting more confidence.
A young woman named Katie is one of the original Sparkles who I absolutely fell in love with. She's just so beautiful, and she was really struggling when she joined, and to see her overcome everything that she was struggling with. She tells me all the time, I want to start a team too.
The Sparkle Effect teaches children with disabilities how to cheer and how to follow their dreams. I just want other girls at other schools to get that kind of joy that I get from doing this.
There's never going to be a time in my lifetime or my kids' lifetime where the Sparkle Effect won't exist. How cool is that?
I think that a program like this is essential in every school. These girls are worth our time and energy. They shouldn't be off to the side, by themselves, segregated. They should be just a part of high school culture as anybody else. And to be able to inspire other people to get involved is just a dream for me.
It's pretty remarkable. Sarah Cronk's mentoring vision and the warm glow of the Sparkle Effect has now extended to more than 180 teams in 29 states, engaging more than 3,600 students. Change can be loud and community-driven, while at other times it comes from quiet one-on-one mentorships. And our next Stories of Champions is from New Orleans, where an extraordinary teacher has spent a half-century focusing on individual students.
I've been educating children now, this is my 50th year. But there was something about Holy Rosary that really touched my heart. You see, I'm one of these people that my entire life, I've always gravitated to the children that struggle to learn. And here's a whole school filled with students that have learning challenges.
Sister Paulette is very in touch with every student. She knows everybody by name. She knows their interests. She can also tell when they're having a bad day, and she absolutely checks in on everybody's well-being.
She is like a mother figure. They respect her, but they also show their love for her in all the things that they do. And it's Sister Paulette and all the faculty who let these children know that graduation is something that they can achieve and that they can find a place in the world. That's very, very important to her and to all of us.
The more kids' lives she touches, the better our world will be. I really do believe she brings something very special to the plate and connects with each child on an individual level in a very special way.
The one gift I feel this school gives to our students, and does well, is a sense of self-worth. You all have gifts, you all have talents. We're going to help you learn what they are. We're going to help you use them. You will feel good about who you are so that when you graduate, sky's the limit.
Our next guests are from another organization built on the foundation of one-to-one friendships and mentoring. Best Buddies is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social, physical, and economic isolation of millions of people with intellectual disabilities. And I'm so pleased to welcome George Marilla and his best buddy of 20 years, Anthony Shriver. Anthony's the founder of Best Buddies International. Nice to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
Anthony, I'll have you start. Walk me through what's really at the core of Best Buddies.
The core is really developing a sense of acceptance, inclusion, integration, inclusion, integration, inclusion, integration. I mean, I think over and over, we as a society tend to isolate and segregate in all factions of life. And I think Best Buddies is all about reaching out to people like George, who are gifts from God and have so much to offer and so much talent and ability to share with each and every one of us to make them feel completely included and to make them feel like they count, that they matter. And I think when we do that, our lives personally are enriched beyond our wildest dreams. And it's really a gift from God for this population to be alive and to exist and to share their talents and their sensitivity and their compassion and their hearts with people like you and me, if we're smart enough to take the time to listen and to pause and be calm and relax, to let them into our lives.
So, George, you've made your way all the way from Miami, Florida, and you've been in Best Buddies for 20 years. Tell me,
yes,
how has
actually,
it been?
it's 21 years.
I'm off, 21 years. So that's quite a while. Tell me what you like about Best Buddies.
Well, Best Buddies has helped me
helped me find new friends. It's enriched my life. It's been the best thing that happened to me since I finished school. 4 years before after I finished school, I joined Best Buddies, and I've made friends. Got a job at the Hyatt, which I've held for 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm proud to say that my proudest accomplishment of being a Best Buddies participant, particularly in jobs, is being a former 5-time Miami Dolphins season ticket holder. And I'm looking forward to maybe buying season tickets to the Dolphins again in 2019.
Okay, I like that. Anthony.
But it's great how he says, though, because now he has his economic ability and the talent.
Those are not cheap tickets, so clearly you have the economic
ability. He's been a season ticket holder in the past when he saved enough money to do it. Goes to every single game, rides public transportation to get to the game. I mean, it's been more challenging now, but he has been able to do that. So it's really living a life that's full and rich and something that he loves doing and has enormous passion for, which is what we all want, right?
And really a ringing endorsement of the program. Is the key sort of matching the right mentor to the right mentee?
It's the key with everything. It's it's matching the right people. I think that's the story of all of our lives, finding the right person that, is special and enriches your life in a way that it's indescribable, I think. And so I think that's one big component of Best Buddies. But the other big component is our employment program, where we create economic independence. 85% of people like George are unemployed in this country. So not only can their friendship develop opportunities for employment, but then once the job is secured, it develops enormous independence for the person with intellectual disabilities. And I think, as you know, and as I certainly know, I can't get anywhere in life without my friends. And I can't get a job, I can't network, I can't get on the show, I can't get someone to give me money if I don't have a network of friends. So if that whole equation, I think, is eliminated out of someone's life, it really creates a life that's dark and not enriched, and that's the life that we don't want to have for anybody.
So George, you mentioned you work at the Miami Hyatt.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your job.
Well, I started out as a regular houseman, and then I worked my way to being a pool attendant, a special projects houseman. Then I got transferred to laundry, where I work in the laundry department, folding out sheets, towels, and pillowcases. And generally, I have excelled at the Hyatt, even though I've never really gotten all-star recognition. They say I'm a hard worker. They look forward to seeing me employed more. They wish I could have more days so they could see me more. They think I'm the best employee there is.
That's amazing.
I receive a lot of feedback from my coworkers and my fellow employees.
So it seems to me that you're able to bridge this gap between the school that George talked about and really getting a job that'll help with isolation and also economics.
We try. It's a huge challenge. It's a big challenge that our country faces, and certainly when you get outside the United States, the challenge is even bigger. But the transition from school to work is a huge issue because people with special needs sort of fall out of the system when they get to be 22. And many of them are left at home staring at the wall, watching television with little no economic opportunities and no social inclusion opportunities. So Best Buddies, I think, comes in and plays a key role in that as we try to transition out. Because as I go back to the other example with like you and me, a job, but then the friendship network and the socialization is our whole life. And I think for them, very often that life doesn't exist. So I think to be able to continue to do that, but there's so much to do because, we affect over 100,000 people just in our friendship program, but there's millions of people with intellectual disabilities out there. A lot of work.
Anthony, thank you
so
much
for
this
time.
project. Really, it's amazing. Best Buddies all across the globe. And George, thank you for coming all this way from Miami. Really appreciate your time. I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, especially during this time of year.
It's very beautiful here in New York City this time of year. I know we can't always compete with Miami, but this time of year, we're pretty good.
You're beating us now for sure.
Yeah, let's see how it happens. See what happens during the rest of the year. And I don't mean
winter.
I don't mean the seasons. I mean,
Oh, football. Oh, we're going to go to at some point a commercial break, and you and I can talk about football at some point. Students and teachers and mentors behind Best Buddies are all part of amazing champions that we continue to salute today. And it's my pleasure to announce that so far, the combined total of American Graduate champions has grown to 1,940,344. That's incredible. The power of matched mentors and mentees is also at the core of the next group success. Eye to Eye pairs middle school students with learning disabilities like dyslexia and ADHD with college and high school mentors who share similar learning disabilities across 22 states. Incredible wisdom within the Eye to Eye family is spreading the virtues of mentoring from peer to peer and coast to coast.
Eye to Eye is a national mentor organization with chapters across the country in colleges and high schools. And it's an art-based mentoring program that takes students who have a learning disability or ADHD, and they're paired up with a middle school student with a similar disorder. And each week they do weekly art projects that help promote self-advocacy, help them see their strengths. And now we have about 25 to 30 mentors that go to 2 schools in North Philadelphia.
I have ADHD and I have dyslexia. I can talk to Miss Danielle and I get to do exciting stuff because I really don't have nobody at home because Mom, she gotta go work, and when she get home usually, I don't have anything to do, so I just sit in my room.
I've spoken to parents a lot of times who are just starting to enter the learning disability or LD world, and they're worried, they're scared for their kids because they think that it's the end, that their kids won't be able to graduate high school, graduate college, or anything like that. My own parents had that thought once, but I'm a testament to see that, hey, there's nothing to be scared about. I mean, you can graduate high school, you can graduate college.
I like working through this program because I get to meet tons of different people, even the other mentors, and I'm around people like me, so they think the same way, they learn the same way. Like, I get to hear like what she goes through, and like I wish that I had someone that could understand what I was going through schooling growing up, so I like talking to her and stuff like that.
I love
you. I love you too.
I hope that they are proud that they have a learning disability. I want to empower students so that they don't feel that having a learning disability is a weakness to have, but it really is a strength.
The mentors at Eye to Eye are inspiring some amazing students, and now it's my turn to tell you about my inspiration and why I'm here today. When I was in college 5 years ago studying to be a journalist, I ran out of money for college twice, and when I was going to drop out for the second time for financial reasons, this amazing woman, Soledad O'Brien, came into my life and helped me finish. You don't understand how much you've done for me, Soledad, and I've always wondered, why did you do that?
I don't know, you hear all these mentors talking about how it made them feel, that young lady crying as she talked about what it's like to have someone help you. I think I felt the same way, that first there were some practical things that I could do to be helpful, certainly in journalism, and number two, that maybe I'd get more out of it, that I had to do something. I had finally kind of made it, and I sort of owed it to people to do my part too.
That's unbelievable to me to hear you got something out of it, because of course you wrote the check, which I needed and loved the check, but you also became my mentor and provided me with a mentor, Kim Bondi.
Yeah, and the check, I think sometimes people think the check is everything, and the check is a lot, certainly, when you're trying to help somebody out, but actually I think it's the relationship. Long after we've stopped paying for your college because you've graduated and you're working, Kim Bondi, who we assigned as your mentor, who's been a tremendous mentor. She was my mentor. I feel like we're continuing to help you grow and shape you as a person. And I know you are mentoring other people, right? So it's part of this long continuum. It just feels like it's an honor to be part of that kind of thing. I just love it.
Well, it's absolutely amazing. You'll never understand how much you did for me. Thank you so much. All right, guys, make sure you keep up with PBS on Snapchat for a behind-the-scenes look.
Last year at his high school in Orlando, Florida, James Turner was known by many for his blazing speed in the 400-meter dash. But what many didn't know was that James was running a far more difficult race off the track.
You know, before 5, they said I lived in 17 different foster homes.
James Turner has never had what most people take for granted, what they call in foster care a forever family. Placed in care at just 18 months old, James was separated from all 3 of his siblings by the time he was 5 and has had little contact with any of his family ever since. At 8, he was almost adopted by a family he loved that was moving to Jamaica. But at the last minute, he decided he couldn't leave his school, his neighborhood, and his country. It's a decision he still regrets. James says the next foster home was a violent place.
The dad of the home, he beat me a lot, and his kids also, and other kids that he took into the system. And he said his excuse was, and I remember he always telling us, well, my foster mom did it, so I'm gonna do it to you.
By the age of 12, James was mainly living in group homes, something that often happens, according to Betsy Bell, who runs Orlando's Foundation for Foster Children, an organization that has helped James since high school.
As kids grow older, if they're not adopted by age 9, then their chance of being adopted and being part of a forever family are much smaller. And so what we see, though, is at that same time when kids are getting older, they're in group homes because there's just not enough foster homes.
As he grew up, James changed group homes and schools several times, but he learned how to advocate for himself and for other kids in care.
He was the big brother. He was the one that kids would go to that they knew James would help him.
However, James found few adults he could really trust.
I found myself always examining people and observing things. I think it scarred me for the rest of my life because I cannot go throughout a day without trying to figure somebody out who is directly involved in my life.
That slowly began to change when James arrived at Orlando's Boone High School. He wanted to go out for track, but didn't have track shoes. The staff at the Foundation for Foster Children got him a pair. And then he met the school's college counselor, Wheeze Cullen.
Yeah.
He told her he wanted to go straight to Florida State University after graduation and earn a business degree.
I think it's much more common for students in the foster system to be working on just graduating high school.
In fact, national studies show only about half of students in foster care in the U.S. graduate from high school. Fewer than 1 in 10 enroll in college at all, fewer still in 4-year schools. But James drove himself to beat those odds, and he and Cullen began outlining a plan to get him to FSU.
Your sense of self really is shaped by powerful forces you may or may not think about.
Today, the 19-year-old recently began his 2nd semester and says he wouldn't have made it here if not for Cullen.
FSU, I thought was out of reach. And, you know, she made it more reasonable and she made it seem a lot more possible.
James's tuition and fees are paid for by the state because he went through Florida's foster care system.
There are so many needs that they have that the typical college student doesn't have.
Sally McCrory is FSU's provost.
We have students in this group who are food insecure. So we've had a food bank, a food pantry. We have students who have nowhere to go on break when the residence halls are closed down.
That's frequently a problem for foster youth like James. When he decided to return to Orlando for winter break, he didn't know at first where he'd stay. But then 2 families he met last spring at a fundraiser for the Foundation for Foster Children opened their doors to him. James spent his holidays visiting both.
It's so weird to be in a family setting again after being in group homes for so long. So these families that are opening up their home to me, they don't know that they're serving they're doing something so great.
On our way back to Tallahassee and FSU, James shared his most ambitious plan yet. He wants to use his business degree to reform the state's foster care system and hopes to develop an app and a website specifically for the kids.
You know, they can relate and share their experiences at different group homes. They can even rate group homes. They can rate caseworkers. They can rate staff. They can rate all this stuff. They can rate their judges. They can rate the experiences that they had in different foster homes and foster parents and talk about how different caseworkers are doing different things, making other people aware.
But he says above all, he wants to make sure kids in the system get one thing they all need.
There's someone to care. It's as simple as that. Someone who cares, you know, just at least one person who cares.
Today, James has given up on running competitively, focusing his free time instead on speaking to both large groups
At the age of 1.5, I was entering foster care, but didn't know until the age of 6.
and smaller ones.
We're already ahead of the game. We just got to get there.
like here at the Florida United Methodist Children's Home outside Orlando. James never lived in this group home, but he offered their foster youth guidance on life in college.
You get into college and people have to live with each other. And you hear these little people, these little girls or these guys complaining about their roommate. And I was like, dude, I lived in group homes all my life. And I had roommates worse than this. Like, this is nothing, you know what I mean?
And at this point in his life, James has found a different kind of forever family.
Every kid, you know, that was in foster care, you know, every kid that can relate with what I can relate to, you know, they're my family now. They're adopted into me, and I'm adopted into them.
Stay tuned for more American Graduate Day!
Don't go anywhere.
Hashtag.